What's up, my sweet babies? Welcome back to another episode of the Avarice podcast. We're going to be continuing the American Pie franchise today with the third installment, American Wedding. And we're going to experience a slight degradation, but it still holds up reasonably well. There's a couple of weird decisions that I don't get, and we'll address those once we start the film. If you've never watched or listened before, I watch a movie, in this case American Wedding, and I do commentary over it. Sometimes I veer off course, something will pop into my head, I'll get on a tangent, tell a story or whatnot, but usually it's related pretty closely to what's going on in the film. You'll be able to slightly hear it in the background, or you can cue it up and watch along with me and just mute that version. I start every podcast by making myself a cup of coffee, which I am doing right this second. Then I'll have a seat, I'll smoke a little bit of weed, I'll give a countdown, and we'll start watching American Wedding. Ooh, excuse me. So how you doing, Ozzy, you fuckface? Oh. So I set out with that new goal to post a new piece of content on YouTube every single day. And so because I only have 3 days available to record stuff, I had to kind of come up with a schedule for how I was going to get that accomplished on a regular basis. What's going to get recorded when is it going to get posted? Just have it laid out so that I have a framework that I'm operating on. And I actually got kind of carried away last week, and I've ended up ahead of myself. So, whereas according to the schedule I laid out, I should be out of content right now. The piece that I posted today should have been the last one I had stocked up, and this should be going up tomorrow. But that's not actually the case. I, in fact, have a review and a commentary already in the chamber. But I might skip them in the line and put this one up first. Only because the one I just posted today is Child's Play 3. And the one that I have in the chamber is Bride of Chucky. So I might give that a little bit of time to breathe before I ram another Child's Play movie down people's throats. And this would be a good change of pace to have in between there. Plus, the American Pie videos have been going like wildfire on my channel. The second one, at this point, is the highest viewed video I've ever had. Granted, the average watch time is only like 30 seconds, but people are clicking on it still, so it's a start, I guess. I am now having a seat on the couch, the throne, as it were. Find my lighter, patting my pockets, asking where is my piece at. Coming, yeah! Pardon me. That was a rather substantial hit there. I don't normally go that deep at the beginning of the podcast. Damn. Got ahead of myself. Okay, keep it together. Mindhead, keep it together. I have to show it to the Laker girls. Would you mind cutting your hair? I mean, I guess, but it usually works out better if somebody else does it. Anyway. Those are lines from Bowfinger. I am getting ready to queue up the movie now, and I will be starting it in 3, 2, 2, 1. God damn it. 3, 2, 1, play. Fuck me. This head is on fire with passionate love. The neighbors complain about the noises above, but she only comes when she's on top. The music choices in these films are always spot on. They always, you go, oh man, it just brings you back as soon as you hear them. So progressing with the underlying storyline we've kind of had through the first two movies, Jim and Michelle's relationship is now becoming the main thing in the series. We got that a bit at the end of the last movie, and now they're a full-fledged couple. And she became more normal and much cuter, like, overnight. I don't understand what happened. So this came out in 2003. The first one came out in 1999. The second one in 2001. So they're on this 2-year schedule. And there was a calling for it. People wanted to see more American Pie. But I think it just got a little bit tired. It was too much too quick. American Pie 2 was great. It wasn't that much of a drop in quality from the first one to the second one. But from the second one to this one, you do see it. It's just a little more generic and a little more forced, and where you just see a lot of it coming. And that's just, they're getting into a groove because they're a franchise and they have a formula and things that work, and so they're just getting a bit repetitive. It still is a pretty funny movie, though, and worthy of being a third film in a trilogy. Granted, they went down some dark paths with the licensing of the American Pie name later, and then American Reunion, which I've only seen like once or twice. I can't recall very much at all. I'm pretty sure that Ostreicher's girlfriend is like a slut or something. That's like the only thing I can remember. That might not even be the same movie.
Let me tell you something. This is some ring. Look at the rock on this baby, Mr. Big Spender. Hope you didn't blow your wad.
So we have to start every movie with an awkward sexual moment for Jim. So it was the tube sock masturbation scene, was the sex with the friendly goodbye sex with the college roommate, and now he's getting a blowjob under the table, and his dad is sitting across from him. And his dad's bringing the engagement ring that he forgot at home.
I cannot believe my son is going to pop the question.
So she just got surprised and headbutted the bottom of the table. That would fucking hurt. She might have bit his dick. Ugh. I think that would be a reaction. She at least gouged her, drug her teeth on it for a moment. And now he is naked with a hard-on, presumably, in front of the entire restaurant. It's probably got a little bit of spit on it. It's shiny. It looks like an elephant's trunk covered in cooking oil. Jim probably isn't packing like that, let's be honest. No offense, Jim. I don't know if I would have her come out from under the table. I think I would just take the embarrassment on myself and let her sneak out after the commotion had cleared. I don't think I would want, like, to force that upon her. Like, will you come out from under there and let everybody know that you were giving me a blowjob in the restaurant? It's not remotely embarrassing for you. And then I'll propose to you in front of everybody, and they'll think we're like disgusting pigs. But hey, to each their own. This is kind of par for the course with their relationship to this point. Eugene Levy is one of the most consistent and accurate portrayals of a supporting father throughout the entire franchise. It might have been, besides Stifler, Jim, I think that the best casting might have been Jim's dad. It's hard to say, but he really adds something to it. He's just this wholesome guy who's just trying to help out all the time. He's super understanding. He never makes Jim feel bad. He tries to relate to him. He's supportive. And there's not a lot of variance in his portrayal. Which is almost everybody's characters are pretty consistent, or at least authentic feeling throughout at least the first three. But Stifler in this one, Stifler really bothers me, and I don't know what happened. Did Sean William Scott forget how to be Stifler? Or was he given shitty direction in this? Because everybody else seems to be pretty much the same, and he seems like a caricature of himself. He seems like he's trying way too hard. It's totally overacted. His laugh is fake. The condescending comments feel forced. The vulgarity seems very juvenile and super generic. Like, he just doesn't have it like he did before, and I don't understand. I don't understand how that happened. I also don't understand why Michelle's cute now. I don't get it. She's a woman now? It's confusing to me, because I was not attracted to her at all in the first two movies, and now I'm looking at her and I'm like, damn, she's kind of got something going on. So Finch has graduated from NYU now, and he's still eccentric, loner. The laughs come a little more cheap in this, but they're still there. These two fucking guys. So they were the ones who coined the MILF phrase in the very first movie.
Jim. Hey, John. Food and the drink are really bad.
And they're expecting like some kind of a fucking kegger, and it's an engagement dinner or a rehearsal dinner for... It's an engagement dinner for Jim and Michelle.
This is amazing. I don't recognize half the people in this place. At least they all brought gifts, though.
They're gonna have some awkward redheaded Jewish children.
Please come in. We've been expecting you. How was your trip? Delightful. Who's excited about the wedding?
These parents are assholes. They act like they're above everybody in this situation. Like you have to earn their approval at every turn. I hate people like that. Especially when, even in this interaction here, you guys are on level playing ground. You're each one half of the parents in the wedding. So there's no jockeying for position. There's no hierarchy. Just fucking be friendly. And the way they treat Jim. She already said yes. She's already wearing the ring. What the fuck does he care what they think?
You should come to law school, man. You know I can use the company.
Kids, Michelle's parents are here. Come on, we're waiting.
Kevin seems to have a lot less going on in this movie, if I remember right. Less lines, just he's less a part of the story. I could be wrong, but I think that's what I'm remembering. See, here we get introduced to it.
Well, polish my nuts and serve me a milkshake.
See, that's not funny and very generic. And this dancing around like a jackass, even the expression on his face isn't normal Stifler. Was he on coke during this, or he got a prescription for Adderall? I don't get why it changed.
Gee,
Even the way he says fucker doesn't sound right to me.
Fucking right, doggy. It's good kick.
Fucking A right, doggy. I did pull that from this movie, though. There's certain phrases for movies that just stick with you for almost your whole life, and fucking A right, doggy. That's one of them.
Hey, Jim. Stifler? Stifler, what are you doing here? Nothing, fuck the asshole. Check it out. I made it all by myself. Pretty cute. Yeah, what happened to my invite? Got lost in the mail, fuckface? Quiet. Oh, by yourself. That's what I thought. I think this is okay. You're serious. Hey, serious. Jeez. Damn it.
It doesn't. In the other two movies, would Stifler's character have been somebody who wanted to go to Jim's party? Like, the continuity with Stifler, I don't get it.
Shit.
Parties are waiting.
You think he's upstairs, honey?
That's enough about Stifler. That laugh, god damn it, I can't. Sounds like the Tales from the Crypt skeleton. Tales from the Crypt used to scare the shit out of me when I was a kid. Because my parents would go to bed and I'd be watching TV when I wasn't supposed to. And we had HBO, so I'd just be flipping through shit. And back then we didn't have guides and on demand and all that. So you just start watching something. You'd have no fucking clue what it was. You just start watching it. And I'd go to HBO and it'd be, 11 at night or midnight. I don't know what time. And some fucking campfire story or Tales from the Crypt, some bullshit that would scare the shit out of me would be on. In the middle of the night, everything's dark. I'm the only person awake. I'm a little kid. It was nerve-wracking.
And move on and start again.
There's a couple of times where I had to ask my grandparents or my aunt to turn Unsolved Mysteries off at night because it was scaring the shit out of me.
Thank you, sir. They think you're an angel. And I'm just someone grateful.
Yeah, I think it just gave me the illusion when I was a kid that it happened way more often than it does.
And besides,
You're watching a half-hour show or an hour show and you see 4 murder cases. You're like, God damn, how often do people get murdered? I need to be worried about getting murdered constantly.
it's one day.
And you feel defenseless when you're your child.
I've just never walked into a room and had everyone go ooh and
Oh, the very generic
Is exactly
dream wedding scenario
promise.
that I frankly don't get.
Shit. You gotta frost it.
Feels like everybody's just jerking themselves off at a big wedding.
Here to go.
I don't believe that anybody wants to go to a wedding.
Suck my dick. Ron Jeremy.
I really just think it's so that the participants can feel very special when they have, at this point, no track record proving that they're going to be a good married couple. We're supposed to celebrate this union regardless of the quality of, that's what I don't get. You get to pick how big the celebration of your own wedding is, and we just have to go along with it, whether we give a fuck or not. I would much rather see you have a good marriage than of some fucking extravagant wedding.
Finch, he does.
And spending that much money for a day. Why not set yourself up
You never heard me say that.
for the rest of your life?
Do not deserve a girl this.
Like, let's say a wedding costs,
Michelle said the wedding.
let's be conservative and say it costs 10 grand. I was thinking more 50.
I promised her wedding.
What could you get on a return if you had just invested that 10 grand
She wants to
or spent 2 of it and invested 8? But if you go with the 50 model, you could spend 5.
I can't do that. I can't.
Just spend 5. That seems like a lot of money still, and invest 45. That seems like a much better plan to me.
I'm not a shit. You're challenging a kid, indeed.
Work on your actual life, on your actual relationship. Don't throw this big stupid party where everybody has to act like you accomplished something because you got married.
So I'm
Half of them fail, so half of the time people are going to these big ass weddings
like spying on.
and celebrating something that's not like.
Fine. It's the sequel. Extra attention means you're concerned.
This is true. This is good.
Anyway, you get what I'm saying. I won't harp on that.
Here's to the next step. Please shut up.
Shut up with the next step, Kevin. Enough next stepping. So now we've got a montage of her being disgusted about wedding dresses while Jim has friends spy on her to try to figure out what her dream dress is, and he's just gonna magically get it for her. She's got resting bitch face constantly while looking at wedding dresses. Oh, Mom. Make the perfect dress for me.
We're fine, thank you. I was kind of hoping that.
I want everybody to treat me like a princess for one day.
I'd really like.
How about no?
Why I think I'll make a good husband.
How about you earn that?
When there's a chance.
Oh, why is that? Come on.
And the fucking wedding dresses,
I was saying that soon.
they get worn one time.
Talk this.
One
now,
fucking time.
The preliminary talk before the future
Call me frugal,
longer talk.
I don't-
Which would be like
a cynic, I don't know, but
private dinner talk.
I cannot justify that purchase. I can barely justify a big wedding ring, but at least that lasts and is worn daily, or at least most days. But a fucking, some big stupid dress that is impractical and is only worn one time? Suck my dick.
Oh, you guys in a sporting goods store. Very good. Hey, Finch. I think they got your size. Oh, beautiful. Jim needs to learn to dance for his wedding.
Like, I could just never imagine needing a custom outfit that costs more than a used car that I'm gonna wear to one event and then put in a closet for the rest of my life.
I already called up Jim's mom. Got the info. I'm preparing for the festivities. It's time for me to boom boom with the bridesmaids, bitch fucker.
A honeymoon makes sense to me, sure. Go have a little thing, get into like a reset, come back, ready to start your relationship. But the big, yeah.
This is a little difficult to explain. Look, you're okay.
Like in Very Bad Things when she's padded chairs and all this shit. And you go to it and you're sitting there for hours and it's boring. Your mom is crying. Somebody's doing coke in the bathroom. You know, you've been to weddings. You get done, there's a DJ, they play the same songs, you hear weddings, you eat some food, some people dance uncomfortably, they throw a bouquet, they shoot a LeBron James headband off of the girl's leg, they cut the cake, they feed each other. I don't... I'd rather go to work than go to a wedding.
Mofo right here does not want the Stiffmeister, the grand fucking facilitator, to attend the wedding. Who sucks donkey dick? Jim sucks donkey dick. Jim sucks donkey dick. The answer's no. Okay, I'm sorry. The answer's no.
Again, back to the movie. I don't understand Stifler's character in this and why he wants to go to Jim's wedding so bad.
No, what exactly is this? Here. Left box turn. Hi, stop looking in my eyes. Sorry. Now, how do you know?
His tone of voice is wrong.
3 fucking years. Yeah, hated it.
That seems more like Stifler. Those couple lines there.
Fuckface. What part of this sucks my ass do you not fucking stand? This is exactly what I'm talking about, Steven. You can't behave like this. If you want to come to the wedding, I'm sorry. You cannot.
Jim has matured quite nicely, as most people tend to. Like,
Look, just
everybody's so insecure when they're younger, and they have all these questions, and their self-esteem is so low. They don't understand how they fit in, and then you slowly just become a normal person. It just kind of happens
what if you
for most people.
the dildo show? Sure. you can find the time to fit it in, go ahead, surprise me.
Sorry, Chief, that only gets you halfway there.
Why half? What do you mean? I need assurances that I'm gonna get some quality action at this wedding. I'm sorry, I can't.
What? You want him to be some kind of a groom pimp?
No pussy.
He's supposed to make sure you get laid at his wedding?
Okay? No pussy.
If you weren't such an asshole, you'd be able to accomplish that on your own. Girls are ready to go at weddings. They're all turned on and shit. There's champagne. It's so romantic. They're emotional.
Can't get. The dress she wants is ham solid. They have a store in Chicago. Now, if we leave right now, we can get there by the time they close. 3-hour drive.
3-hour drive? Kick fucking ass. We go to Chicago to see titties?
We are talking about getting Michelle a dress in Chicago. Now,
At least Stifler still dresses the same.
What's the capital of Thailand?
Bangkok.
Yeah, I got shotgun.
So they're gonna go to Chicago to find this dressmaker and try to negotiate a price. Like, that's how often would that ever work? It doesn't seem logical at all. Again, you have to come up with something
have style, the culture.
using these characters to make a third movie.
So they're gay.
At least they go with the wedding thing because they're sticking with this kind of rites of passage, coming of age tales for different aspects of life. Prom and graduating high school, losing your virginity, then going off to college, dealing with the fact that you're split up from your friends, you're moving out of the house, you're becoming an adult, now getting married, going, combining two lives into one, that thing, and really becoming like your last hurrah with your friends. I know that I said becoming the last hurrah with your friends. I started one thought and finished a different one in the same sentence. Excuse me. Stifler looks so much skinnier to me too. Maybe it's because his hair's longer.
No, I really love your shirt.
Do I know you?
I'm Jennifer.
Well, Jennifer, just relax.
So if you don't know, he's wandered into a gay bar by accident.
Daddy's a regular here.
And he just said he's a regular here. And he's probably the most homophobic one of the bunch. So he's the least likely to wander into a place like this. And he's a bit slow on the uptake. It takes him a while to realize that he's in a gay bar. I think I would notice pretty quickly. I probably noticed before I went in, but I could be wrong. I've been to gay bars before, but I knew that they were gay bars before I went into them. And I wasn't even old enough to be in them. I knew a guy that worked there, and he let me come in. So essentially, if I wanted to go to a bar, that was the bar I had to go to. So, I never went alone. Would take a buddy with me. I think we were only 18. But we would try to act as straight as possible. Still didn't prevent certain advances. But I was amazed to see that they had a cigarette machine, a vending machine. So I went over and bought some cigarettes out of the vending machine. When I bent down to pick them up, this guy walking by ran his hand up the back of my thigh and my ass. I was like, man, this is a different environment than I'm used to. I went and sat down next to my buddy and I told him what happened. And then the bartender asked if we were a couple because we were both wearing black t-shirts and jeans. And I was like, no, I wear jeans almost every day and most of my t-shirts are black. I didn't really understand the question, but that was the first time I was introduced to the tip jar. My friend that worked there was going through the tip jar after he's done. Somebody had put some pills in there. Somebody put a little bag of Coke in there. Somebody put some weed in there. Somebody put a DVD in there. And then, of course, a ton of cash. It's crazy shit. I'm talking over one of the best interactions in the movie. This big bear character. And Stifler having their interaction, and it's going to lead to the dance-off. And I know everybody in there is impressed, and they say Stifler dances well, and that's part of the storyline of the movie. But I'm not impressed. I'm not saying I can dance, but when I watch what he's doing, I'm not impressed by it. Seems pretty. I don't even know what the, like, campy. It doesn't seem like there's any dance moves there. It just seems like he's just kind of bouncing around and swinging his arm, kind of the classic white guy move. Almost needs to just do the dice roll. But it's still a funny scene to me. And when Bear gets on the ground and puts his head in his hands and starts kicking his feet. Like, everybody's going ooh and ah. He's just walking and pointing his fingers at the beat. That's not hard to do. But this is perhaps the most vulnerable that Finch, Kevin, and Jim have ever seen Stifler act. He's just cutting loose and letting out something that he normally keeps hidden and pushed down. Like, was that supposed to be some big, like, you got served moment? Like, did he serve him there? I don't know much about dance-offs, but it didn't seem that impressive. The other guy seems much better at dancing to me. Dreams are made of these. Whoa, I haven't heard this in a long time. This was like the club song when I was a little kid. That sounds weird coming out of my mouth because, of course, how would I know? But it was on the radio, and there was a brief period in the 90s where house music made its way onto the radio. Like, I'm the scat man. And that song. Just watch A Night at the Roxbury. All those songs. God damn it, I'm sitting here dancing now. It's contagious. But y'all can't see it. That's the best part. So my dog is looking at me like, what the fuck, dude? But she doesn't understand much about the world, so why should she understand this? Just take it all in, sweetheart. Ride it, ride it, ride it, ride it. I love that he calls him Stiffy. I love you, Stiffy. So, Stifler had a dance-off at a gay bar, and now Jim gets a free wedding dress? What? I guess. If that's all it takes, I'll learn how to dance and go to dance-offs at gay bars. Get free shit. Can you give me something that has a little bit more utility than a wedding dress, though? I'm not trying to offend your craft or anything. You just make something I think's useless. And it serves one person a purpose for one day. Costs thousands of dollars. Do you know like somebody that works for Ford or like Tesla that wants to have a dance off? I'd be more interested in that. I'll trade somebody some stocks for a dance off. We'll have a dance off, and hi, I'm Leslie Summers, and here's your stocks. I'll take that.
I'll have turkey.
Thanks for helping out.
That's because you take on way too much. You treat it like this big goddamn television event that you're coordinating. It doesn't need to be that. Everything's gotta be just perfect and everything's just... Bleh. What's the most memorable wedding you've been to? Exactly. I know I've been to a bunch of weddings. I could probably list them, but none of them I'm like, oh man, that fucking wedding. Not a one.
Hungry.
So when's marketing? Let's see. That would be never. Did you guys break up?
I guess I'm not much for big ceremonies, though. I didn't even attend my own graduation. I graduated, but I was like, okay, so I graduated, I'm done, I fulfilled my requirements, and y'all think you get another day of my life? Go fuck yourselves. There's not like... I always felt like school was something I was obligated to do. I had no choice. So as soon as I had a choice, I was out. Instead of... Because they always do, like, you know, you walk with your class and then you get on a bus and you take some trip somewhere. I said, fuck that, and I rented a couple adjoining rooms in a motel at the beach, and my friends and I went and partied at the beach for a couple days. Much better. And what's funny was, all of my friends that attended that, not a one of them went to my high school. I knew them all from work and McDonald's. And my now wife was on that trip, and although we weren't dating at the time, and my best friend and former business partner was also on that trip. We all met working at the same McDonald's, and he's married to a girl that he met working at McDonald's. It's kind of crazy.
Dickhead, you did not say shit to my office at school.
Oh, hey, Stifler, why don't you come on in and make yourself comfortable?
Your letter made a great impression on Coach Marshall when he read it. Let me just refresh your memory.
I can tell, at least at this point, that this podcast is probably going to veer a lot off course from the film. So there's not as many things to talk about in it. Like I said at the beginning, it's all just a little bit more tired, a little bit harder to pull off. You can't really up the ante anymore. They're going more into the serious realm, and that's not what you're going to them for. That's not what you solicit from them, is serious stuff.
It's a wedding, they'll all be decent guys.
This is she's the mom in Mad Men, the sister. I should do a better job of explaining that. Michelle's sister, the blonde girl in this film, is the mother in Mad Men, Don Draper's first wife, the mother of his children.
Finch, she thinks you were being sarcastic.
And they're gonna do this turn where Finch is gonna start acting all vulgar and out of pocket, and Stifler is gonna try to act prim and proper and preppy, but the more he talks, the more he reveals that he doesn't know what he's talking about. He tries to come up with quotes off the cuff, and he doesn't know any. It's clear that he made them up, and she's actually attending college. She actually knows some of that shit, so she knows he's a phony, but she's putting up with it.
Well, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Well, they're around town doing some wedding stuff.
But then she starts to be attracted to Finch and his vulgarity, and turns it on its head, and Stifler doesn't know what the fuck is going on.
Oh, I think you look
She is pretty damn cute.
Jim didn't pick just one, or I mean, he couldn't decide.
He didn't pick a best man? Classic story.
you meet Steven. He's friends of Jim's and mine and well, everyone's. You look very familiar, Steven.
Really? I'm afraid we've never met.
Oh, shit.
Isn't there chocolate just to die for? Oh.
You guys are gonna have to listen to the movie for a moment while I go take a piss.
I was just saying to your friend, I have something very precious here.
What is it?
Michelle's grandmother's, my mother's wedding ring.
Isn't that precious?
But since all of you are the best man, I don't know who should hold on to it.
I think it's best if I...
I think you should get to know us first and then decide.
You are such a gentleman, Steve.
I hear that all the time, but it never gets old. Hey, Paul, do you have a camera?
How thoughtful.
I must have forgotten my camera at home.
And we're back. I apologize. Drinking coffee goes right through me. I usually drink like a half a cup before I start recording, and then I top it off with another cup when I start, and I usually sip it pretty quickly at the beginning. That leads to having to piss. This has been Science Explained by Devin. So we already had bullshit Stifler, fake, over-the-top, cheesy-ass Stifler when he was trying to be himself. Now he's being fake, and he already was doing a shit job, so it's just hard to take him like this. Wait, he's lightening up his voice and trying to make it sound less aggressive. But they just have to let it play out for a long enough period of time and he will reveal himself. That laugh.
Let's go look at the candle over, honey. I think with the summer blossoms.
I believe I was taking a piss when she gave Stifler the engagement ring or the wedding ring.
I know what you're doing. Look, have you seen yourself? I can't believe you're doing this. Calm down, dude. What's that? I teach you to dance like a British gonna cough.
So Stifler had said if he couldn't get laid at the wedding, he wasn't going to teach Jim to dance. Now he's convinced that he's going to bed Michelle's sister and he's willing to teach Jim to dance. He is the classic asshole. No Oz at all in this movie. I noticed watching the first two, and in an attempt to watch Rollerball, I had to turn it off because it was so bad. I realized that Chris Klein is actually not a very good actor. No offense, dude. You enjoyed a reasonable amount of success. Congratulations. You probably do a better job than I could, but you stuck out like a sore thumb. So they chose to not even use him in this movie. So then because he's gone, his girlfriend is not there either. And I can't remember her real name or the character's name at this point. I apologize. Heather. Heather's not in this film either. If Stifler really thinks that they're that close of friends to where he needed to be invited to the wedding, he should be okay telling Jim if he shaves his balls or not. I would tell my friend if he asked. I would assume his intentions for asking are honest and pure.
I didn't know you were going to be here.
Where could answering that question go bad for you? Like, what do you... I don't know, dude. If I answer that question, I feel like you might not look at me the same. That reminds me of something. I'm not sure if I've ever talked about him on the podcast before or not. But I used to have this friend. He was a weed dealer in high school. He had a very rough family life and upbringing. Got bounced around from mom to dad, so on. He ended up becoming a junkie. He was smoking heroin, dealing weed, taking fentanyl, snorting coke, all the bad shit, right? And I essentially had to stop associating with him. I just couldn't do it anymore. But there was one time I was over there, and he asked me this straight-faced, totally honest question. He said, if you smoke, or would you think less of me if I smoke crack? And I was like, well, just asking the question kind of already brought you, just the fact that you were willing to consider it enough to where you had to ask me what I thought tells me all I need to know. Like he had coke and he was looking up how to make crack on Google. This was the dumbest motherfucker. He almost shot himself in the head once. I don't know what he was doing. He was fucking around with a gun and it was jammed. It was a pistol, and he's sitting there pulling and pulling and pulling, and finally it released, and I don't know if he pulled the trigger by accident or what happened, but he shot right over the top of his head and out his window in his apartment. And then because I used to work at a window place, I know how to change out the glass in a window frame. Because you set the glass in the frame in the warehouse. That's something, it doesn't matter what location it is, the process is basically the same. So I got a replacement one and went over there and replaced it for him. And in case the cop showed up or something, he wanted to have a story for why it was broken. So like he took a bat and broke it out more so it didn't look like a bullet hole. So it made it way harder to fucking replace. So I just had these big, huge shards of annealed glass, which means it's not tempered. It has very sharp, raw edges. What am I supposed to... I didn't have a box or anything. I had garbage bags, and it was just going to tear through the bags, and it's dangerous to handle. His apartment faced the freeway, and there was just bushes and ivy down below. No walking path or anything, and he was on the 3rd story. So I just shoved the shit out the window into the bushes. And he actually got pissed at me about that. Like, he was a piece of shit. So, yeah. One day, I just had to stop talking to him. Last I heard, he lived in Hawaii.
Do you follow what I'm saying? You understand where I'm going?
I do. I think
Anything else you need?
No.
Actually, I heard that he got home invaded and robbed and tied up, and after that he moved to Hawaii. So you see, it wasn't ever going to be a good thing for me to keep hanging out with him. I don't think everybody has one of those friends, but a lot of people have one of those friends. He's the one that can hook, he's got the hookup. He can get whatever you need. Anything you want to find, he knows where to... And he was always trying to get some kind of hustle on. Gotta respect that, but he did it in really dumbass ways. He printed out business cards when we were freshmen in high school and went around the school handing them out saying that he could burn people music CDs and movies and shit like that and sell them. And a teacher was like, that's copyrighted material and that's illegal, right? Like, he didn't think this shit through at all. Oh, the bachelor party. Yeah. Of course, it's over the top and generic, but the strippers are hot as fuck. And they each have their own thing going for them. Like, which one would you pick? God damn. We're going to take a moment to just observe and appreciate the beauty of these women's. Oh my gato grande mis pantalones. She's got over-the-top fake boobs, but whatever. I'm indifferent about them. They're better than some alternatives. So I can't say I'm indifferent. Chester to stick a finger in his ass. He rolls deep. Kevin's a little bitch still. Stifler, your laugh sucks. Honestly, though, guys, if you had to pick between the two strippers in this scene at the bachelor party in American Wedding, which one would you pick? I wish I could get a better view of their asses. That would be a major determining factor, because they're on level ground in so many other aspects that the ass could really be a determining factor. Either way, they both make me very happy in pants.
No one's ever pinched my nipple with such ferocity.
Jesus Christ, Finch. I think I like the tits on the maid better now that they've been unsheathed. See, Finch is this intellectual, eccentric, buttoned-down guy, but yet when he cuts loose, and he's a freak. This fucking guy. Buffalo Bill is a perfect reference. Oh man. Oh my god, that was Finch. You couldn't tell that was. You're gonna rip that. Now she's got the outfit on and they switched back. A little bit of continuity, like she was wearing Finch's shirt and he had. That's a callback to the last movie. They asked if the guys wanted to watch them make out, and they had a flashback to the "you go, we go, you go, we go" scene.
Love me too, you know. Look up at me and make this face like, or something like that. I don't know. It's great.
She's trying to have a real conversation with Stifler, and he can't take it. It's like seeing behind the curtain at his favorite restaurant.
Could you just dance for me, please?
Here's my favorite shirt.
He'd rather take the butcher's word for it.
Hey. What?
Stifler has his arm around a blow-up doll. His beer is in the hole in the front. I don't get this. I understand if you want to fuck it and get a load off, but I do not understand talking to it like it's a person.
Why in the world are you focused on me?
I'm just surprised you don't have tits. It is a bit surprising. He's in reasonable shape.
We'll put something on it and we'll
Okay.
I think for a French person.
See, he fucks up. He puts stuff all over his whole body. I would put stuff exclusively on my dick. That's where I want her tongue. Maybe my nipples. Nipples and dick. And this is a mess. Come on, dude. Have a little bit of respect. Someone's gonna have to clean this up.
Can I just watch?
You're not at a hotel.
You don't have to do anything if you don't want to.
Whoa, hold on. Don't break character ever again. Okay? I don't care if Kevin starts crying because Finch bit his cock off. You're a dirty cop, you're a prissy maid, and I'm
I'm going with the maid, guys. I've decided. That's my final answer for $1 million. No lifeline. No phone a friend. No poll the crowd. Thank you, Regis. I'll take the maid. You guys, are we having dinner? So what they don't know is Jim claimed that he would be there alone because he was trying to have dinner with Michelle's parents as a part of this weird courting process where he has to convince them that he deserves to marry their daughter. And they done goofed because there's Bear is there dressed up like a wine sommelier. There's two strippers. Kevin is taped and tied up to a chair. Finch is covered in liquid chocolate. And Stifler isn't wearing his conservative preppy shit. This isn't an environment that he should be in. He doesn't associate with characters like this.
Roses.
Pink roses.
Yeah.
They're nice.
Yes, artificial. Nice try.
I almost.
Yeah, asshole. Cool.
Well,
What a prick.
has Michelle ever told you the story of how we fell in love?
Oh, why don't you retell us now?
It's one of my favorite stories. Where should I begin?
I guess Jim is kind of sappy and on that side of things, because
I suppose it all started.
I would never be interested in telling my wife's parents how we fell in love, especially in this context. I would never
That's right.
pose the question that way.
That was the summer.
Did she ever tell you how we fell in love? I don't know. I don't want to talk like what?
Right, look what I got.
Jesus.
Hey there.
Guy there.
The best part of this is that Jim has no fucking clue what's going on. From his perspective, this would be insane.
Say please, Harold.
Please. Of course.
Absolutely.
He's here for is the wine, obviously.
Why else?
What else would we be here for?
I can see you're very surprised to see me here.
Well, yes.
And he's got assless chaps on. Cheek chillers.
Cabernet Sauvignon, full-bodied, masculine wine. Just shouts sophistication.
Just shouts pretension.
I can see you're very surprised.
That noise you hear is my weed grinder.
Check on the dog.
I didn't have a fresh bowl at the beginning of the podcast like I normally do, so I've got to replenish it at this juncture.
Because I just checked on
Because he just checked on the dogs.
Good work, man. I'll help you with the turkey. Okay.
and I'll keep you company.
He has to try to hide the fact that he's wearing assless leather pants.
Mr.
Belvedere.
Here.
God damn them titties. It's working out for me. The anal bead thing. What's I've never even seen those in use. I've heard them referenced many times. I don't get it.
You have a serving dish ready?
Who wants to see that in her ass?
We need a serving dish. Oh, yeah.
It's probably gonna come out with shit on it.
What?
And why would they want to do it? I don't know.
I thought
I mean, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be allowed to or anything like that. I just I've never understood the anal beads thing. Why beads? Feel free to explain it to me, anybody out there.
Here you go. One serving.
I'm always willing to learn.
Now what we need, a cutting board. No, stop.
I almost said I would try anything once, but not that. At least not as the recipient. For scientific purposes, I might try administering them to somebody. Preferably female. I'm most likely out if it's not.
What happened here?
In fact, I'm definitely out.
Oh,
It almost looked like blood, huh? The way that it shows up on camera.
How embarrassing.
It's weird how
Gonna stain.
film and lighting make stuff look different than it does in real life. In The Godfather, the famous horse head scene in the bed, that's chocolate pudding, not blood. Well, obviously it's not blood, but they used chocolate pudding because on camera it looked most like blood.
Remember?
You don't remember?
You know why I don't remember is because I actually.
And I think that the river in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory was toothpaste.
Your mother said you don't have a cleaning lady.
I don't know why she would say such a.
No. You called the mustard.
Oh my gato grande.
Well, there you are.
I gotta stop saying that so much. But God, fuck, she's hot.
So, cleaning lady, we were wondering where the mop was.
Mustard cookie
What? Where?
I did no such thing anywhere.
Master put the mop in my fanny. This, the father-in-law is into it. Oh, he puts his glasses on.
Brandy, what are you doing? Eastern Europe anymore. You can't do that.
Finch comes up with a great cover.
My cousin's
This is
not used to our custom.
thinking on your toes at its best.
I apologize for recommending her to you. Oh, here's this, by the way.
Got them up.
Oh,
You left some
Jim told him that chocolate on the stairs was mud. Definitely did not look like mud.
Remember last time when you wanted me to take a ride in your fanny?
You took it too far, Jim.
You know what? We should probably just go. I'm so sorry.
These in-laws are so uptight.
Everything wasn't
At least the mom is. And you can tell that she's keeping the dad pent up.
You have unique friends.
Watch this. So he just smelled the blouse that the maid ripped off. Oh, nos. Someone stole their megahertz. So she's discovered Kevin tied up and panic ensues.
My God, they are back here and nicely.
The fact that they're gullible enough, at least in the movie, to believe that she's a real cop is...
This boy out of the closet. You were all in for her.
It's not exactly logical.
No, this is her.
She's clearly not a real cop.
Do that?
But she can pull me over any day. I meant ow. As if ow is a reaction that you have to choose. Like he had to... Sometimes I say ow and it's a reaction to a noise instead of a feeling. I'll hit my hand on something and I'll say ow, but it doesn't hurt. It's just, I don't get it.
What's going on?
Listen, this isn't working, guys. First we can drop the act. This isn't a real cop. Kevin wasn't assaulted.
Stifler's gonna blame it all on Finch so that he can maintain a little bit of his false image that he's built for this family here because he's trying to get with their other daughter.
Untie him, give him mouth to mouth. I don't know what he likes to do. You know, and then Paul Finch hired an exotic dancer instead of a real actor.
Yeah, is this true?
Evidently.
Every word of it.
Oh,
That's the stupidest idea I have ever heard.
You've embarrassed me and Harold and Mr. Belvedere.
Belvedere.
All my fault. I'm a bad person.
Time check, we're at basically 58 minutes.
Help out your best friend.
Just shy of it when I said it.
Yeah, but I suppose it's the thought that counts.
You know, I never should have allowed such a crazy plan to happen in the first place.
So Jim's trying to win over
Here.
Michelle's parents, and he just keeps making an ass of himself at every turn. But that's Jim, and they need to learn to love Jim for Jim, the way Michelle loves Jim for Jim.
As much energy into your marriage as you put into tonight.
He isn't Mr. Perfect. That's been made clear to us over the course of the previous two films.
We still adore
He's kind of goofy and you know, adorable and cuddly, and
you.
gets himself into some snafus every now and then, makes an ass of himself, does embarrassing things, gets caught up in compromising situations. I did not miss her giving the ring to Stifler. She just did it.
It's gonna be one fucked up wedding.
Absolutely. What song is this? This used to be on one of my Madden games, I think. I used to hear this all the fucking time. Is it good, Charlotte?
Oh, I'll just drive up north all by myself.
That sounds good. We'll see you later.
Oh, snap, Finch. Your woman's gonna ride with Stifler.
Hey, Kevin, I know.
Are you at least gonna get in the front seat? Okay, he does get in the front seat. She can't tell by Stifler's car that he's not a prep. He drives like a fucking Thunderbird.
So my mom told me dog's playing with something unusual this morning.
He drives like a Smokey and the Bandit car, and she thinks that he's some button-down guy. Oh, Jesus.
Great.
Mother-in-law is rubbing her neck with the anal beads. Hopefully they were cleaned and sanitized. The role reversal. Finch does a much better job of acting like Stifler than Stifler does of acting like Finch. But that's because it's easier for you to drop into that realm than it is for somebody to pretend to have knowledge.
What do you mean?
I'm not sure.
See, he's trying to use big words, but he doesn't use them in the right context. It seems so lethargic to him, he said. That makes no sense. As Voltaire said, quote, witty proves great for my friends and I.
You called 2 days ago and canceled your reservation. Since you now wish to stay here, I thought you could persuade Mr. Finch to share his room.
Hey, shithead, I didn't cancel my reservation. Mr. Fuckface Finch called here, and Mr. Idiot behind the desk canceled it.
Stifler's playing checkers and Finch is playing chess.
Nor did I, sir. And your rudeness and obscenities won't change anything.
That would be fucked up, though. He's come all the way to this wedding and he doesn't have a hotel room.
Fucker. Or better yet, go blow your dad.
My dad?
Here, here.
Yeah, why you there? Stick a finger up both their asses while you're down there.
Hey, Vince, rudeness and obscenity won't change anything.
That was a weird move because I think Finch feels like he is getting farther with her being this fake Stifler character than he would be as himself. So to maintain the presentation or the pretense, he jumped out and started acting like a buffoon. Stifler looked at him like, what's up? Stifler notices that the girl is there and then he corrects course. So he prevented Stifler from being outed, but at the same time prevented himself from being outed.
You're gonna have a fun weekend, Ma.
I am missing my soap.
Well, don't you worry about your soaps.
So will you push fast? I'm tired.
Okay, so now we get to the grandmother, Jim's grandmother.
Can't eat sugar.
Of course, she's Jewish. She's in a wheelchair, diabetic apparently.
I know things haven't been going well for you. I know that. But wait till
She meets Michelle
there at the altar tomorrow.
and goes, no wedding, not Jewish, no wedding.
Biggest smile.
So basically saying that she wouldn't approve Jim to marry anybody that wasn't Jewish. She's choosing this point to make that known. Michelle's last name is Flaherty. There's no fucking way she's Jewish. Like, what are you talking about?
Grandson's getting married tomorrow. You think she's
You didn't notice as soon as you got the invitation when it said Flaherty Levenstein that maybe he wasn't marrying a Jewish girl? And you're gonna try to prevent the wedding because of that? Who the fuck do you think you are? Like, what?
Do you think that I could get some? Chicky, chicky. Maybe just a little finger. Sticky, sticky. You might electric with a hip hop flavor.
He's wearing diesel jeans. Those are expensive. So Jim is going to use this electric shaver he got in like a gift bag or a welcome kit to shave. Goddamn, that was a lot of pubic hair. To shave his pubic hair. He's doing it on the bathroom rug, which is an amateur move if I've ever seen one. And now he's gonna dump it out the window. Of course, more embarrassing situations for Jim to get into. We see this coming to, like, they should have shown him shaking out the thing, and then we go to what happens as a result. It's got to seem more innocent before he starts. I didn't like the cutting there. But his pubic hair has just ruined his wedding cake. That lady has got bitch face if I've ever seen one.
I hope you'll be more careful with the next one. My kitchen is not a toilet. Okay.
Don't worry, we don't mind having to charge you for 2 cakes. That'll be $5,000.
Boy, pubic hair was just not an issue.
See, Jim's dad always just relates to him. Always just tries to make it better. To have a nice conversation.
Ever again, that'd be great.
Well, you're the one who just got yourself into this situation by trimming your pubic hair.
Nope. Promise
So-
to keep it safe.
Spawned a conversation. What do you want from me?
Frodo. You really care about this wedding, don't you?
Hey, I'm gonna cry at the ceremony. I know it.
It's pretty fake, dude.
Are you just saying all of this? I mean, do you act differently around certain people? Namely me?
Of course not. Why?
She's on to you, dude.
Made around me?
Generally, I'm just me. If people don't like it, then that's their problem, right?
Yeah. Fuck those fuckers.
No, you're right.
We're about to get into one of the more far-fetched scenes that's a bit cliche. We've seen in several. The dog eating something it's not supposed to. And in this scene, it's a fucking wedding ring. Like,
I love these guys.
that little dog would not eat a ring. Look, it would bite that and go, oh, this metal. Like, it's hard to get a dog to eat a pill that's shoved inside of a hot dog. And you think that this dog is just going to eat this loose ring? I hate this part of the story. The whole fucking... The dog eating the ring, him following the dogs around, him picking up the shit, him eating the shit. I don't need any of that in there, but you got it. They had to come up with some filler.
I mean, you think he really likes
The odd thing is the runtime on this is like 140, something around there. And there's definitely, it could have been condensed more. You could have got it down into the 1.5 hour. You could have cut 10 minutes out of it.
Do it.
I don't need this dog scene.
Don't fuck around.
I don't think it's funny.
And let it go. I'm sick of waiting. Do it for Daddy. We just take a shit already.
That's a feeling I can relate to.
Great.
And you take your dog out for a walk and you're like, I know you have to take a shit. We're not going in until you take a shit. Will you just take a shit? Come on.
Of course not.
You have been staring at those dogs like a hawk all day.
I'm a dog lover. Oh, by the way, apparently you missed when Cadence kissed me. Slight tongue action, too. Something like this.
That's okay. It's going to be easier for Finch to slip into his normal personality with her than it is for you. You're abrasive as fuck.
Job or some titty grabbing. No pussy for you, Finch. Oh, fucking right, doggy.
Should be fucking A right, doggy.
Jackpot.
I don't know why, but fucking A right, doggy has a better ring to it than fucking right, doggy. Wonder if I could trademark fucking A right, doggy. Because they probably didn't, if he doesn't say it that way. He just says fucking right, doggy. Ugh. See, I don't need to be grossed out like that. Like, I don't... This isn't funny to me. I'd rather see Stifler fall down and make an ass of himself.
I'm a little busy.
With what? Come on over. We need you.
Get over here, you little rascal.
We were just talking about Michelle.
Why didn't you just kind of try to dig the ring out of it instead of carrying this whole pile of shit with you?
No.
And it's fresh. It would stink. Like, you ever been near a dog, fresh dog shit?
Of course not. I'm keeping it safe.
The radius that you can smell that in is pretty strong. So when he's holding it up like to his, oh, fucking A.
This one?
No, the other one.
It's chocolate truffle.
Nice. Where did you put
See, I feel like they should be able to smell it right now. They're way too close. You would smell that dog shit. Ugh. Stop it.
Well, hey, I managed to sneak one right past her. Give her a tiny nibble.
Give it to Mama.
Mama don't want this. This is the only piece that I have.
This is a conversation I have to have with all the ladies. They run up to me and they say, give it to Mama, and I have to say, Mama don't want this.
Right now.
No, it's mine. No. No.
Darn trouble.
See, she would have smelled that shit for sure. And then, god damn it, he's chewing on dog shit. And we gotta see it in his mouth and in his teeth. No, thank you.
Close your mouth when you chew, Steven.
Sorry, I don't want it. I'm using my phone to block the TV screen because I don't want to see this shit right now. Literally, shit. Don't want to see it.
Is it Swiss or French chocolate?
How could I tell? Chocolate is chocolate, bitch. Stop being so goddamn pretentious.
I'm trying to savor the flavor right now. Is it fresh? Oh, it's so fresh.
Do you guys remember the show Bullshit, Penn and Teller Bullshit? There was an episode where they gave people cheap shit and charged a bunch for it and gave them these huge pretentious explanations for where it came from, and they just bought into it. Like they sold them water out of a hose for like $20 a glass and told them it was from the Appalachian Mountains and it was blessed by a shaman and it was melted slowly in a meat smoker over the top of bacon and then blessed by a priest and then pissed in by a little boy and then purified by boiling and then ionized with salt, and now we've brought it here to you on this table, chilled to a perfect 38 degrees on top of 2 ice cubes with a slice of lemon. Enjoy.
Isn't it great? We're getting married. It's amazing, Fran.
Not Jewish. Not Jewish.
Not Jewish. No wedding, Jimmy. No wedding. Forget it.
Grandma, no.
Yeah, Goya.
Oh, shit.
Jim, she hates me. Oh my god.
Look, we love each other. Michelle and I love each other very much, and that's all that matters, Grandma.
How did they not realize this was going to be an issue until now? She's never expressed this opinion about, like, nobody had an idea this was coming.
Yeah, Dad, she's okay. She's just a little tired.
And he's not even going to be honest with his dad about it. That's something his dad should be on.
Look on Grandma's face. It's gonna
Jim shouldn't have to resolve this. His dad should.
It's not because of you. Michelle, it's not because of you at all. It's because Grandma thinks it's 1801. Look, don't worry. I'll come up with something. I promised you the wedding of your dreams.
Just tell her some band camp stories, and she'll realize that you were meant to be together.
I would like to propose a toast.
I'd prefer if you didn't.
Weeks have really been something for my lovely wife and me. We have met some people we didn't know existed. We've experienced some things we didn't think were possible.
Yeah,
We've
that's
always
right.
Make the best of every situation.
This is a good situation.
That's what I'm saying. This is a wonderful situation, the coming together of two families from different backgrounds. So to our new son-in-law, may we say, Aaron Go Bra. To our lovely daughter, Michelle, L'chaim. Did I get that right? Very good. And let's hope we can sit many happy shivas together.
Shivas?
Here's to a wonderful wedding.
See that shipwreck? Told you I won.
What do you think? Like, you're just trying to bag her once?
Hey,
Hey,
so I just
You're gonna fake your way through a whole relationship like this?
you didn't trip me, Pops.
But I just want to let you know that you make me feel special.
You're the most special girl ever.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you want to make things extra special tonight.
Which room is yours?
Whichever one you're in.
But I saw like a big fluffy linen closet at the end of the main hallway.
Yes, big fluffy linen closet is good. Midnight?
Yeah.
All right.
I was right about the Kevin. A lot less Kevin. He just turned on the lights and turned off the refrigerator.
You fucking stalker!
And he's stealing champagne.
Filthy thief.
Oh, really? Guess what, shipwreck? It's a wedding. Everything's free. What do you want?
Not for somebody. That's fucking shitty attitude.
Approve of the wedding.
Typical of what a lot of people think now.
Interference and
It's free. Somebody still had to buy it.
I am
It,
asking
it had to be made.
Sorry, Finchmeister. I got plans with Cadence.
Free just means free to you. Somebody still paid for it.
your dick for 1 second and actually be useful.
Fuck you, Finch. You didn't eat shit, okay?
You didn't prance around here like a ballerina for the whole week.
And now we have the breaking point.
I'm special, you're special.
She finally gets to walk out and see the real Stifler.
What? I'm gonna get laid, finch fucker, and it's gonna be oh so good. It's gonna be like, you like this shit, mama? And she's gonna be like, fucking right, doggy, give it to me.
See, he never says the A. He never says fucking A right. It's just fucking right. I'll go with the fucking A right, doggy. That's my style.
You been here long?
Oh, Cadence, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce you to the real Steve Stifler.
Hi.
And the mask comes off.
Pumpkin!
Pumpkin? Bitch.
You are quite the gentleman, Stifler.
You could have told me she was behind me.
Between Grandma
Well,
and Stifler and Haynes.
what purpose would that have served? You wouldn't learn the lesson that way.
You know, I thought I had grown out of this sort of behavior, but I keep messing up. These things keep happening to me. If I can't bring it
Why is he peeling the Budweiser label off?
Hold it together for the rest
People do that, don't they? They sit there and fuck with the label on their bottle. I don't like wet paper and sticky thing. I'm leaving that there.
come out of it better than you went in. I mean, I don't know how, but you do. Everything is gonna be fine.
Yeah,
Now Jim's gonna find out that all the shit that was in the freezer or refrigerator is ruined because of Stifler. All the flowers.
There's no way to remake all these in time, is there?
Something must have disrupted the power. The compressors need time to reset after power loss or they overheat. Essentially, it turns the refrigerator into an oven.
Stifler was in here earlier. Flip.
You were using a refrigerator to keep all these flowers alive. It's just so dumb to me.
Hey,
Why?
Those flowers look hideous.
because you killed him, Stifler.
You've ruined everything.
Yeah, put him in his place.
Oh, what are you talking about?
you obviously don't care about this wedding or anyone in it.
Correctamundo.
Hate it. Jim? Shoot break. Come on.
Oh no, we can't get married now because the pretty flowers aren't gonna be there. The tables are gonna look so empty without pretty flowers on them. Nothing's gonna be there to hold the tablecloths down and keep them from blowing away. Oh, darn. Now, if the cake or something like that was ruined, that's more substantial, but the flowers? What does that really affect? Who gives a fuck? I would be pissed that I already spent the money on them and now I'm getting nothing for my money. That would be my point of contention. And there's nobody that's going to fix that except for, I guess, Stifler does by replacing the flowers, essentially. I don't know where he gets all the supplies, but I just want the asset that I paid for recuperated in that situation. Because I don't care about the flowers. But if I'm paying for them, I better fucking get them. Spoilers, I just revealed that Stifler fixes this. I doubt you were relying on this podcast to be your preliminary introduction to the film. So now he's driving around Smokey and the Bandit style, trying to find a florist that's open. Because he doesn't really understand the scope of the task that's at hand. He's going to their house. At least he's desperate to make it right. It's like the first element ever in any of the movies of him having some type of humanity and feeling bad about something he's done. But he's also, he's gotten older. He's lost all of his cool status. He's not having keggers at his house anymore. He's a dickhead. And he doesn't have his athletic status. He's just a coach at the high school. He's God to those kids, but not to any of his peers. He really has to hold on to these few friendships that he has, because he's not going to gain many more. Not at least with the character we're seeing in front of us now.
Look, the fact that this is the rudest thing I have ever encountered. There is no time to redo all that work. I had 4.
But he's willing to pay the penance and get this job done to make up for it, which is respectable. It's admirable. I'd allow him to attend the wedding if he did this.
We don't quit at halftime, ma'am. You don't score until you score.
She responds to that. Again, it's pretty cheesy. It's just there's a lot more cheesy scenes shoved into this. They really didn't have a choice. It's hard to come up with that much unique material consistently in these big productions. But he gets his whole football team to come and help set the shit up. He gets it done. He's good at coordinating shit.
Yeah, having a good time, huh? Can I get you a gin and tonic? Bling! Hold on a second. Hello? Oh, okay, it's for you. It's get to work, fucker.
Gathered here today to join these two great people. Blessed union of blood, and fat. Coach, this is the kind of game.
I know.
Yeah, it is. Good work.
Oh, he got Bear to help.
So you got a date for this thing? Don't push it, son. Holy shit. How the hell did this happen? Stifler, save it, dickhead, I'm working.
I like the attitude. Okay, Stifler, some redeeming qualities or events here. You're showing me something.
You're an asshole.
I think that Stifler ends up getting her in the end, though, because she liked Finch better the way he was acting before than his true self.
Well, you get an A for effort. This is amazing.
Thus, meaning she likes the real Stifler more than the guy he was pretending to be.
So did you do all this just to have sex with me? Or because you really care about the wedding?
Can it be both?
And,
Even if it was just to have sex with you, wouldn't it make you feel special that he was willing to go through this much trouble?
I like you.
But that's not his answer.
I got it.
Okay, well, I'm coming around on the Stifler, but the beginning Stifler was fucking garbage. Congratulations, Jism.
This is huge. It's like watching monkeys use tools for
It is. She's right. Michelle said it's like watching monkeys use tools for the first time, and that is spot on.
Stuff. She actually liked me being that imbecile. I don't know. Somehow I think she's probably better off with you.
Thanks, Shipwreck.
Finch is just so goddamn mature. Always has been.
Dick.
He doesn't know how to tie a tie for shit, though.
I did fuck your mom. Twice.
That's better, fucker.
How do you not just punch him in the face after he says that? Well, hi.
The wedding's not for another hour.
No, I mean you and me.
Hold on. Do I still gotta do this bullshit meeting?
Stifler, you are not bailing on Jim.
Shit. Give me 10 minutes.
I'll meet you at the closet.
Just bend over and hike up your dress. We can pound this out. No pun intended.
You wanted to see me, Michelle?
Oh, okay.
Classic Jim's dad.
So, Jim said that you've always kind of been there when he needed you, so I thought maybe you could help me.
Jim said that?
Wow, that actually kind of brought a tear to my eye. 'Cause, like, what else would you want to hear besides
I still can't get my vows right.
your kid said you've always been there for them? What else would?
I got my first period.
That's a very confusing time for any young lady. You know,
And
your body-
Jim vouched for him to the extent that now Michelle is seeking advice from him.
Coming out, stuff going in.
Oh no, I need help with my
He doesn't
vows.
seem to have like a lot of the man qualities. Like he probably doesn't teach you how to fish and hunt and build shit. But
Go on. Yeah, Jim just wants
from like a psychological level, he's like the ideal father, I think.
Don't let her talk to anyone.
Of course, who could keep that up? Who never gets frustrated? How you never gonna be slow? How you never gonna be late?
Hey guys, thanks for coming out here and meeting me. I just have a couple of things I want to say.
This sucks.
God damn it, Stifler.
That's it.
You know, I thought about what you said about how my problems always seem to work out, and I realized
That is like, what is that? A castle behind them? What the fuck kind of a scene is that?
because you guys
That is ridiculous.
back me up. Even you, Stifler.
Looks like something my son would build in Minecraft.
For the first time in my life, I actually feel like I can't miss anything else. Which is pretty amazing. So, I guess I should say thank you. Thanks.
Thanks? This whole thing was about thanks? Oh, welcome, cockblock.
Sounds good, Jim.
You gotta respect it though. He's been pursuing this for a long time. He's tried every avenue.
Describe.
And she's ready and willing and waiting.
It's your wedding, and it's natural. It's perfectly natural.
He's got some pent up
Possible to describe a feeling.
things to release.
Nothing is impossible. So let's not focus on that. Why do you think
His seminal vesicle is about to burst.
they call it making love?
I don't know.
This is actually a good point, what Jim says, what his father says here.
Boning. Well, when you're doing other things with Jim, when you're not boning, how does he make you feel?
Horny, like going to bone.
This isn't what I was talking about. This isn't. He's getting to it.
I certainly have. I've boned from sunrise right through.
Don't look at me like that while we're talking about boning.
Boning aside, I think they call it making love because you have to make love work. You know, it's about compromise and sacrifice, and I think Jim has sacrificed for you. My God, he shaved his entire pubic region, which would baffle most cultures around the world, but he did it, and he did it for you.
You're right. Love isn't just a feeling. It's shaving your balls.
Love isn't just a big, extravagant, stupid wedding. It's building a relationship and building a future and having shared experiences. Not sharing an experience that every other married couple has shared. Unique experiences. Is he in there boning Jim's grandma?
I think this is probably the right time to tell you that
I know, Dad. Can't see anything here.
So is the grandma in the closet because the plan was just to not have her attend the wedding, like Jim's dad wouldn't notice that?
Where's Jim's grandma?
The old bitch sucked. We had to ditch her.
The old bitch sucked. We had to ditch her.
Place no one will find her.
Oh shit.
Oh, Mom.
Oh, she's not.
I'm so
Yeah.
ready for
It
this.
is Jim's grandma.
Oh, your body's not quite what I was expecting.
Ugh.
But that's okay. The stiff man digs what's underneath.
Ugh.
Oh, you.
It
You're
is.
so beautiful.
No, thank you.
It just worked.
Stifler. Granny.
Granny, what?
Focus! Focus! Focus!
Out! That's still not what it looks like!
Oh, God.
You got it, champ. Oof.
You got it, champ. That's not even meant to be that funny, but it's so good. You got it, champ. Oh, my God. Oh. Oh, man. That was the wedding dress that was so she had to have so bad.
Good luck. Thank you, sir.
It's just a wedding dress. It's a white dress. Oh.
And I promise to love you for as long as I shall live. Michelle, you are the
Thanks for not making us sit through the whole damn ceremony, whoever cut the film.
I love you.
Goddamn same old. To you, Jim. Take.
Jim, I had trouble finding the words to tell you how I feel.
Oh, never mind. We do have to
Love isn't just a feeling.
sit through fucking vows.
It's a dress, a visit to band camp, a special haircut. And it's my solemn vow to give everything I am to you.
And to figure out how I met your mother. Congratulations, you got married. Now you got the government involved in your relationship. Woo! Everything's gonna be so different now because we had this giant celebration. When we go home tomorrow, we won't be the same people. All that debt was worth it.
Let's all welcome Mr. and Mrs. Jim and Michelle Levenstein onto the dance floor.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty, but it's so unnecessary.
We were born before when.
Oh, he gets to show off his dance moves. I forgot about that. That's why they're showing this scene. I was like, why do we need more of this corny ass shit? But he learned how to dance. So it's yay. She knows how to dance? Did they ever explain that? Like that she was a good dancer? Because he just expects her to go along with everything he's doing. And she is.
Let your soul and spirit fly into the mystic.
Stifler and I share a lot of opinions about weddings and shit like this. Come dance, everybody. Alright. I suppose.
it's going to be a woman.
Honey, you don't honestly believe that Michelle is still
Well, I tell you, Mary, I can't recall a single moment with either one of them that would make me think otherwise.
Wow. They think that Michelle's a virgin. At band camp, she stuck a flute in her pussy. Oh, I didn't remember this.
Stifler's mom. Well, we meet again. I was curious. Didn't see you here.
I try to keep a low profile.
Just gonna end every film with Finch fucking Stifler's mom.
No, this has actually made quite an impression on me. I have something to look for in a woman now.
Look, this is your idea of a proposal. Finchy, you've got to know that I'm over you now.
I'm over you. As they say, we will always have Paris.
In the two-room suite I have upstairs.
Now it's just like, okay, we get it. Wrap it up. Bring it home. Flash the light.
Ever imagine
Give him the light. Tell him to wrap it up.
a perv like you turns into such a great guy?
That's a little info like you turns into such a great girl.
I'm still an infant.
Well, I'm still a bird.
What's wrong with us?
Yay, all the couples are together and they're happy. Woohoo!
Michelle, to quote someone that I've learned quite a bit from, I think you and I are a perfectly natural, normal thing. Perfectly natural.
Did they wrap it up? Are we over this shit finally? Got just real hard to take at the end of there.
I told you this buddy could be worth it. Oh my goddess. My queen. My MILF. MILF.
You guys snuck up on the roof to look at Stifler's mom in the bathtub?
No way, bro.
Hey, you're not finished yet, are you, Finchy?
No, man. Just getting started.
This guy is the fucking master.
Come on. We get it. All right. That movie is more fun to watch occasionally than to do commentary on when you saw it a couple months ago. Oh. And those kind of cheeseball parts are a little bit easier to digest when you don't have to talk about them and address them. I mean, overall, it has its place in the franchise, but it is quite a bit of a deterioration from what we originally got with the original. But if it was your product, your franchise, and you were in charge of it, how do you not go ahead and make the third movie? It seems like a no-brainer, so we got it. I'll probably rate it like it's probably like a 7. It's just, it checks the boxes. It fulfills certain needs. It's not too over the top, but it's the character, the Stifler just portrayal mainly is the worst thing for me, and then it's just got a lot of cliched generic things because it's hard to come up with novel ideas when you're forced to every couple years. Nonetheless, that's going to basically culminate my commentary on American Wedding, the third installment in the franchise. I appreciate you guys listening. Please click the like button, share, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. Until the next time, this is Devin signing off and saying, be easy.